All right, here we go. This is just a standing recording here. Get my little standing mat. Interesting because I don't, normally do these, but the espresso's hitting. In fact, I'm gonna slide over my my little coffee warmer that I got it sitting on. Oh yeah, that way it's within reach when I need a sip. That might be a good launching point though for my talk today, which hasn't really been rehearsed or anything like that. I haven't thought too much about what I'm gonna say, but I have the general feeling of what it should be about and what I need, and just to put some accountability on myself. I would hope that I can get myself to just post this video, like right after, just post it on the channel. Now, I think a compromise here is that, due to a lot of my internal stories over time, fear of judgment, things like that, which I'll definitely be unpacking throughout, this series of videos or this channel or whatever it becomes. The compromise right now might just be the fact that there's no one watching my channel. This is like a separate side channel that I made. I haven't uploaded a video on it yet. And so for whatever I might be scared to post, to an existing audience like my Instagram or anything like that, I don't have to worry about that yet. Maybe I can just get some videos under my belt until the point that I feel ready to share them, so we'll see. But anyway, to tie the thread together of what I was just saying with the pulling the coffee warmer here closer. Cheers. Start by saying that I'm sipping a espresso. I don't know. I forget what the name of the espresso is. It's like it's just like a Kroger brand. The purple ones, risottos maybe. I think risotto maybe is the size, but the actual, think about what the flavor is. I can't recall. It's my first time trying it in a while, I think. Then I frothed up a little unsweetened oat milk with it. It's a nice little drink. Probably go with the matcha next time though. But hey, we've got this little coffee warmer, and it's nice. You sit it on there, it keeps the coffee hot. But I just realized that I'm so caught up in optimizing. It's just part of who I am by now. It's the way I've been for quite a while. Really stems back probably pretty far into my my personal growth journey, which I would say, there's traces that go way back, but I would say if I had to put a year on when I really started kind of diving into that space, it was probably something like 2017, maybe 16, 17. So, we're talking 7+ years where personal growth has really been a part of my life. And lately I've just been so caught up, I guess lately as in like, I don't know, maybe recent years really, in just optimizing everything. It's like I've got this coffee warmer so that I can enjoy my coffee to the maximum, so that it's not too cold. It's just like, I like having all the resources available to me, so that I can have, this perfect experience. And I'm sure I could point out little things and little habits that I don't realize every day that I do. Like, for example, right before I started this recording, I pulled under me this little standing mat. Just like, I don't know, what's that doing? Is that saving 6 months of life in my knees for later in life? Like, I don't really know what this slight cushion is necessarily doing for me. I think the bigger thing isn't the fact that I have this under me, but it's the habit of trying to keep a little bend to my knees and not locking out my knees, which is something I feel like I probably do more than I should. And I do a lot of standing for work. I'm standing much of the day, so sometimes it's just like a whole different habit that's going to serve you better off in the long term than like trying to over optimize the little things. It's almost like all this optimization, sometimes starts to get in the way of just doing the core thing. So another example for right now was going to be, I knew I wanted to record a video this morning. I just kind of had a little calling to do that. And I wanted to have my iCloud voice memos recording the audio part of this, because right now the phone is recording the video, but I also like to have like a recording for what a podcast use or anything like that, or just to be able to listen back if I want to, which I never do. It's another thing. I just over record like crazy. I am a audiophile digital confessed hoarder. I've decided that's a whole nother thing as well to unpack, no pun intended. But as I was firing up my MacBook here, which is what I was going to use to run that recording and straight into the voice memos, I decided that the password on my computer is too long. I don't like having to type it in every time, so I was going to switch to just a passcode, like a 4-digit passcode, that's how I log into my work computer, and it's just quicker, So that's where I fell into a little optimization trap. I could have just taken 2 seconds to just type out the full password as normal, but I thought, you know what? It'd be so much easier if I can just, update this password, shorten it. And so anyway, following the prompts to reset that has led through a series of a few steps that I'm still not done with. So in trying to save couple seconds, I took way too long to the point where I'm like, all right, I'm not going to get through that. I got to get started recording the video. So the video is being recorded on this trusty little handheld voice recorder here. This guy goes way back with me, over a decade. I want to say probably 2012, if I had to guess how long I've had this. That would be the year I probably started recording freestyles onto this. I can still remember back when I was working at Champ's Restaurant in the Lenox, 2012, and just my commutes from my parents in Hilliard to the restaurant. Put the Lunsford CD mixes with all the beats into my car. That was the gold Chrysler 300M at the time, I believe. Yeah, that's what I was driving, and then just recording the freestyles to this. Just analog, basic, gets the job done. In fact, I still do that to this day, over 10 years later, and just yesterday, I recorded probably 4 or 5 freestyles. I recorded on the way into work, so maybe just like a few freestyles to beats. And this still serves actually as a functional tool. I'm not just using it for nostalgia, but it actually is functional because to play the beats in the car while I'm commuting, I got to run that from the phone. That's where the beats come from, so I can't be recording on the phone. So again, it's just this separate source to be able to record the audio. So anyway, since I wasn't getting that done, I'm like, just pull out the thing that you can literally press a button and don't have to use technology. And I always end up, hooking these up to the computer and transferring them into my iCloud anyway. But yeah, man, just in the over optimization, which I could really spend forever talking about and breaking down and dissecting what all I get caught up in, but it also reminds me of a theme that was the title of my um, first ever podcast episode with Sean on our What's Current podcast, which that was July 2020. That was almost over 4 years ago now, which is crazy to think. But the episode was called Just Start. That's how we started our podcast. Just start. You know, we understood even back then that was that you're never going to be ready. You know what I mean? Like, man, both on like a minor and a major scale, you know, like minor as in like several times daily, and then major and you know, the sense of whatever bigger projects or new pursuits that I might procrastinate on for months. Part of the procrastination comes from this idea that I'm not ready, you know, like right now, for example, could have come up with a million excuses as to why I'm not ready to post this style of a YouTube video. You know, I'm not ready to become a YouTuber. Like everything has to be this grand, you know, production or something like that. Like, okay, now I'm ready to start a new song or another mixtape, or to get back into the music. And, you know, today, December 3rd, 2024, as it stands right now in this moment, I'm a little bit on a hiatus. I mean, I'm definitely on a hiatus from the music for the past over 3 months now, that I really have kind of paused on the music, and I'm getting the itch, you know, I'm itching. As far as like creating songs and working on music, you know, freestyling here and there for sure, still keeping those muscles active, with like the commute freestyles, which is really the main way that I'm freestyling. I did one here in my studio room last night for Music Monday, which was cool. But you know, in a sense, there were a couple other areas of life that did need maybe more of my attention and focus over the past few months, where I don't regret that I kind of honed in on those things. But to shift so dramatically and to just like pause something that has so much importance to me, sometimes it makes me even question how important it is to me. But I know it is important to me because of how I feel after I go so long without doing it. But you know, I don't know. Just at a little bit of maybe a crossroads with some things. Just an uncertainty of, you know, where I'm going, what I want to be, who I want to be, just who I am. You know, there's a lot there that gets deep when I really stand back from it and just observe kind of what's occurring in my life, you know, with my development and everything. But back to the point of maybe one of the reasons I haven't been back on the music is I've had this script that's like, well, once you get on top of this stuff over here, then you'll be ready for your music, you know. And that, I know, you know, is just, that's not it, you know what I mean? It's so easy as an adult to sort of just overlook the importance of creativity or tapping into your interests, to leisure time, to hobbies, and to friendships and relationships and connections, you know? For me, I mean, one of my biggest, I guess, maybe insecurities or sources of sort of, I don't know, dissatisfaction, or lack in my life is admittedly relationships, and it's hard to kind of come out and say that. I mean, who wants to come out and say like, I don't have many friends, or I'm not super tight with my family, like as tight as I'd want to be. Like stuff like that is just not something anyone really wants to identify with, or, it's something that at least most people want to keep at a healthy, happy level in their life. And I'm sort of just tying this all together in real time. Again, I hadn't thought through really what I was going to share here or what I was going to talk about, but like, I feel like I hold back on reaching out to my friends, and have really, really fallen off with a lot of my friends over time, as far as like just regular communication. Some of my better friends live out of town too. And it's probably easy for me to use that as an excuse, but we know that's not an excuse these days. You can make a phone call, send a text, just FaceTime, and shoot, make more frequent trips to meet up with these people in real life, your people. It's like, what is, at the end of the day, at the end of life, what's more important than connection and relationships? All these other things that we chase that we think are important, money, for example. Money's not going to buy friendships. Money's not going to buy relationships. Money's not going to buy, family bonds, relationships with your parents, your siblings, your, other relatives. And again, I think what ties to what I've been talking about with just waiting till you're ready, like you're never ready to be ready. But, feeling like I'm so addicted to personal growth and to like optimization, that I lose sight of the relationship piece and the friendship piece. And I feel like, well, once I am like on top of this area of my life, well, now I'm ready to present that theoretical upgraded version of myself to my friends and family more regularly. It's almost like we feel like we got to be somebody. For you out there who can identify with it, we feel like we got to be somebody in order to be accepted, or that's something that's sort of just manifested itself in my psyche over time, I guess. Is feeling like, like music, for example. If I don't have a new project out or new music coming out on the regular, or I'm not sharing my creative self, or I'm sort of in hiding, well then what do I have to connect with people about? You know what I mean? Don't have any kids yet. Don't have a new house yet. Those are two areas of life that, the wife and I are hoping change sooner than later, and develop for us. And then those, of course, are natural points of connection. But, often it's like, lately, I've really felt like in limbo of like, what do I have to connect with people about? Maybe it's feeling like just feeling different, feeling like personal growth, or these books that I read, or these things that I do, they aren't like socially interesting points of connection for most people. You know what I mean? It's easy to, root for your town's big sports team. That's an easy end to some community, or, you know what I mean? Just going out to the bar, having drinks and stuff like that. And neither of those things are really my thing these days. You know what I mean? My thing is more related to like personal growth and that area of life. But then the problem is I get caught just working on myself and not actually not doing anything with it. You know, not presenting myself to the world either like this or in real life situations by hanging out with people. You know, setting up, arranging to meet up with people and just connect with people and exist in the world. It's like, I'm sure, I know it's a big thing in the personal growth space. That's like, you know, there's a tendency with a lot of people like us. I'll say like us, because hopefully my community eventually is a lot of like-minded people that I can connect with naturally by just putting myself out there. But a big thing is like when you're undertaking like a new personal growth pursuit, you want to go into hiding. You know, you want to, the default is to go off into the mountains, you know, go into a cave and work on yourself for 3 months, 6 months, so that you can emerge as like a whole new unrecognizable person. And you can't see anyone until then, you know. And like, even though that's an extreme example of what I'm talking about, like there's some truth in that for me. Like if I feel like there's areas of myself that I'm overly critical of, by the way. I mean, my standards probably are too high in a lot of areas, but then I like don't feel sufficient to go out into the world and to like give who I am right now, which by the way is all that really anyone would need anyway. You know, like am I so self-absorbed that I have to be in an optimal state both on a daily basis and just on a bigger scale before I can go present myself into the world? It's like, if I'm going to go hang out with people, I'm like going through this routine of like 30 minutes to an hour of just whatever it might be that day. I don't know, got to get a cold shower to get my mood up. I got to do a few sets of push-ups so that I can physically feel like I have energy, drink some caffeine, you know, like take my nootropics, just do whatever it is, you know, write down a list of agenda topics so I have the right things to bring up to these people, and you know, I can be effective with the hangout. And it's just like, man, whatever happened to the old days when it's just like you show up as you are, just bring yourself to the table. And I got to remind myself that like even in times of struggle or times where I'm not at my best, that's oftentimes the times I need to be with people, that I need to connect with other people that produce points of connection. You know what I mean? Like everyone can connect on something that they're going through. Everyone has their own problems, you know, like what good is it if I'm just in this perfect state with nothing wrong? You know, where is the, you know, I don't know, just where is the material in that? Don't have a word for that right now, but I don't know, you know, this is just a whole, like, I can pat myself on the back right now just because I'm showing up, I'm recording this. I'm not going to fully pat myself on the back until I publish it, which, like many other videos I've had intentions of doing this, don't get published. But it would have been very easy to try to make this note about what's my first video going to be. I have to have my whole channel figured out. What's going to be my thing? What are the 3 things I'm going to talk about? It's almost like I'm planning my creative pursuits around the elevator pitch surrounding them. What can I say that I'm doing? How does that sound? You know what I mean? Or you know, this whole lack of confidence in like what I'm doing. You know, if it sounds, I mean, if I'm not doing it as a career, then it's just some silly hobby. So then I have to like protect it by justifying it and saying what it is, you know? When in reality, it's just like action generates inspiration, generates momentum, not like inspiration generates action. you know? I mean, sure, it can, but really action is what's going to get things going. So this is action. You know, this is, I'm going to call it half action again, not half-assing, half action. But it is half-assing until I actually, you know, post it out there. You know, clearly I do have, within this, it does feel like this video has been a little bit of like a diary entry, I guess, but within it, you can probably hear my, I don't know, just like my general, I need the espresso. I gotta have another sip of espresso so I can think of what to say next, because I gotta be able to think of everything perfectly. Nope, I still don't have it. Just a general like interest in teaching or coaching or helping, you know. It's like at this point in my journey, like over 7 years of personal growth, I would call it, you know, 7 to 8 years potentially. What good is it if I'm not recycling that and repurposing all of that into a way where I can hopefully help out someone like yourself maybe, or people out there that are just kind of tapping into the personal growth world, you know, to pay it forward the same way that the people who I, you know, read or watched early in my days got me off to a start, and that I may not have gotten off to if that material wasn't available to me, you know. And sort of coming at this from less of a place of like, I've got to find my creative career. You know, I do have a note sitting pinned at the top of my Apple Notes that says, I will one day create full-time. Maybe that'll happen. Maybe it won't. But I don't think that that's the angle in which to create stuff like this. This is coming from a place of, sure, it is self-interested, and I'm trying to help myself get out of a rut and put myself out there and just be the authentic version of myself. But I genuinely want to help people do the same. You know, I have a genuine passion and interest in helping people improve their life and sort of remove barriers to living their most authentic, creative, you know, passionate, impactful life as possible. And I don't need to have a blueprint all mapped out to decide what mine is going to be. It's like I can start right here, right now, and whatever it evolves into, you know, sweet. You know, we'll see, right? I mean, in a way that's exciting. It's like, what will this become? What kind of opportunities will this lead to? You know, there's some little things I touched on in this video that all will probably stem out to their own topic. And I think gradually over time, you'll kind of get a better, you know, a better scope of me, you know, and who I am and what my journey's been like. You know, again, that's something that my old tendency would have been to try to map all that out ahead of time, like as a huge introduction. I can't put a video out there until I explain exactly who I am, because then the video will make sense. It's like these things will sort of fill these gaps and you know, will sort of fill themselves out over time. You got to just start, you know. You'll never be ready to be ready, you know. I have to work on the phrasing of that. That's kind of the theme of this video. But anyway, as I hit 29 minutes here, it'd be nice to wrap this up under 30. But as many of you know, I am those who know me, I should say, I'm a rambler, and I wouldn't have expected this to be a 30-minute video, but I knew it could be. In fact, working from home today, and it's probably about time for me to log in and get to work, you know. And so hopefully something like this is one day my work. But anyway, hope you gathered something today. I know this video is hopefully maybe one of the hopefully the videos from here become less self-interested, less diary-based, and more so here's concepts and steps that you can implement and apply, little early pieces to get a start in, improving whatever you're looking to improve within this. But I do feel like it was probably necessary, or it probably is necessary for these first few videos for me to do a bit of sharing of myself, because then it just helps kind of set the foundation a little bit better for whatever this channel, whatever this series, whatever it is. I don't even know what it is. I don't know what it is. I'm just recording. Okay, I'm just recording a video and I'm just gonna post it. Whatever it's gonna become, and just getting over the fear of judgment, of the identities that I've built in the past that maybe this type of video doesn't align with. I feel like I'm serving up material for, I'm laying it up for friends and family to, poke fun at or cringe at or laugh at or whatever. And it's just like, that probably isn't even the response that would be had. That's just in my head. I've just got these scripts that have really developed over time and hindered me from really like sharing my true self. And I feel like there's not many people out there at this point, 34, almost 35. And I feel like there's not many people out there that like know me very well right now, that know the current me very well. And there may be some people who think that they do. And the reason that maybe they don't is because I'm still subconsciously playing parts and roles that fit nicely in a box with who they knew me as in the past. And so that's just easier. It's easier to not, it's just, those are the grooves that were built in the past with certain people, but definitely I think it'll be healthy both for me and for you, if you can identify with this, to start practicing putting yourself in a more uncomfortable situation more often, going towards the fear, publishing whatever you want to publish, creating whatever you want to create, and not being ashamed of like your interests or maybe your lack of knowledge in certain areas, like all these things that hold me back, just sort of like, just going at it and being like, look, this is me, and take it or leave it. And I also hope that this gets the ball rolling on my music too, because that's still a passion for me. But I don't need to have the outcome figured out. I don't need to have this whole plan figured out for music. I can just show up at my next chance and just make music. You know what I mean? Like, or listen to some of my music, or do one little thing that will get the ball rolling. Like, all it takes is a little thing. You don't need to have it all mapped out. In fact, that's probably the most discouraging thing that you could have, is a plan too big for your current habits and rhythms. So you just gotta start turning the dials just a little bit, rewarding yourself for doing 5 minutes or 10 minutes of a thing that you've been holding back on, rewarding yourself for reaching out to a friend. It's just like, let's all come together and recognize that relationships and connections are really ultimately what can change your world and the world around you for the better. So, all right, it's time for me to peace out for now. Hope to be back again soon with something different, before I have the whole plan of what it's going to be. See, I told you I ramble. It's 34 minutes now. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, a lot to get off my chest, clearly, if 34 minutes is my intro video. But all right, I hope y'all continue to follow the compass, like I did this morning, just recording a video. And just be yourself. Don't be ashamed of it. Share yourself with the world. Put yourself out into the world. Your true, authentic self, rather than trying to play roles and parts to people please. And catch up with you next time. All right, later.